Young Turks exclusive on Ben Carson. It actually was not that hard to get this exclusive. We just looked at tapes that were online. Apparently no one's bothered to look at the real religious beliefs of Ben Carson. Now, Ben Carson has talked about Reverend Wright and how President Obama sat in the pews as he listened to Reverend Wright. So obviously he thinks this is a legitimate criticism of someone running for president to find out what their religious beliefs are. What do they actually believe? And David Harris sent us videos about this. We then dove a little bit into the Seventh-day Adventists to figure out what it is that they believe about a doomsday scenario. Ooh, that's interesting. Well, they talk often about Revelation 13. Now, what is that? Now, you got to understand, Seventh-day Adventists believe that the Sabbath is on Saturday. They believe that it has always been that way, but that the Catholic Church corrupted the process and moved it to Sunday. Now, it's a weird thing to plant your flag over, but base a whole religion on. No, it's got to be Saturday. But for them, it's very, very important. So to respect their beliefs, they think that that's in the Bible. It's the literal word of the Bible, as you're going to see from Dr. Carson in a minute. Okay, and so they think not only is it monumentally important that you follow that rule, but they believe that the end times comes when we no longer follow it, and that the government, along with the Catholic Church, imposes Sunday laws mandating that we practice the Sabbath on Sunday, and that begins the end. Now, that is a very curious philosophy, and one that should be investigated, because as you'll see at the end here with Dr. Carson, he believes the real danger to bring about end times is actually other Christian religions and the right wing. Really? Well, you're going to see him in the video yourself. So first, let's show you the background video here. You'll see Dr. Carson talking about the infallible word in the Bible. Then you'll see Ted Wilson, who's the leader of the Seventh-day Adventists, talking about Revelation 13. David Harris, again, the guy who brought us these videos, you'll see his graphics explaining it at the bottom of the video. And then you'll see the keynote speaker for their giant convention in 2015, this year. And she talks about how it is imminent with the help of the United States of America. It is one of the beasts that will bring about Armageddon. Let's watch.
Seventh-day Adventists are people who believe in the entire Bible. We don't just say, well, this section doesn't really count, including the fourth commandment, which talks about the Sabbath. And we don't believe that the Sabbath was changed. Now, some people do believe that Constantine had the authority to change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. And, looking through the Bible, we have not found evidence that anybody except God gets to make that declaration.
Take us home. We can see right before our eyes that the prophetic chapter of Revelation 13, and if it's been some time since you looked at that chapter, take a look at it. It's being fulfilled as Rome takes ever greater opportunities to influence the world.
People have been deciding to legalize same-sex marriage for a long time. Why the big deal now that America decided to do it? But we cannot miss the significance of the events that are taking place in our world right now. In the fall, in just a few months, the head of the Roman Catholic Church is coming to America. That's fine. But for the first time in the history of the world, he is going to be addressing a joint meeting of the U.S. Congress. Now, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and I know you're a Seventh-day Adventist out there, and we've read Revelation chapter 13. You cannot miss the significance of the head of the beast power, the first beast power in Revelation chapter 13, coming to address the second beast power in Revelation chapter 13. These things are huge. And it's happening in our world right now.
Well, that would be huge if it were true. So now Ben Carson says he takes all that literally. Does he? I hope somebody asks him, if this guy's going to be president of the United States of America, does he really believe that the United States of America is one of the beasts that will bring about the end of the world? Or will he renounce his own religion? I think that's a pretty good question. Does he really believe the Catholic Church is one of the beasts? That's a pretty good question. Does he really believe the right wing will actually lead to the end of us all? Well, that we don't have to ask him because he's already on tape. Let's watch.
I don't know what role the Lord has for me in all this. I do know, in looking at prophecy, that the United States will play a big role, that there has to be a return first to a religious awakening, and more than likely, any persecution, particularly of the Sabbath, will come from the right, not from the left. And people will get a little bit overzealous, and then they'll say, see how much better things are now that we've come back to God, and we need to go completely back to Him, and we need to go, and they're going to go overboard. I hope by that time I'm not around anymore.
So the United States has a big role to play in the end times. Well, if you're running to be the leader of the United States, I'd really like to know what you think that role is. That would seem like it's critical to the job that you're applying for. And hey, right wing, I'm asking you guys. He just told you that you're going to be the cause of the end times. That's what the prophecy says, according to Ben Carson. Do you really believe that? You might want to ask him a question or two about that. Those are some very interesting beliefs. Now, you saw Ben Carson there for himself. I think that it's incumbent upon the rest of the press to ask Mr. Carson or Dr. Carson, what in fact do you believe about the end times? What do you believe is the literal word of God? And what role do you believe the Catholic Church, the right wing, and the United States of America have in those prophecies? If you're going to lead this country, we gotta know.